All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to the November meeting of the Murfreesboro Parks and Rec Commission. This time we'll call the meeting to order. As always, we'll start with the prayer and pledge of allegiance, and Eddie Miller is going to lead us. Eddie?
Okay, let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for all your many blessings. We ask that you help us to use our blessings to help those that are less fortunate. Please be with those who protect us, our military, our policemen, our firemen. Please help keep them safe. Please help there be peace in the world and goodwill to all. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Eddie. First item for consideration is the minutes from the October meeting. I believe everybody received that packet earlier in the week, and we'll entertain any changes or corrections that need to happen, and if there are none, a motion for acceptance.
I move that we accept the minutes.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Mitzi, thank you. Stephen, are you in timeout?
All by myself.
All right, we've got a busy agenda today, so I ask everybody to be respectful of time so we can get through this. First item is a consideration of the Dexter Herd Impact Award at the Patterson Community Center, and Russell Smith's with us to tell us all about it. Russell, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. Good afternoon. First, I want to thank the committee for giving me an opportunity to speak on behalf of the Dexter Herd Impact Award. Dexter Herd was a Murfreesboro Parks employee which passed in December. He passed away in December of 2015. Dexter left behind a devoted wife and 3 lovely kids. Mr. Herd worked as a part-time game room staff over at Patterson Community Center, and he worked there for 8 years. And also, when Dexter passed, he was a very encouraging young man, and he did so much for the community for us. That he was a great impact for our youth, for our patients, and also for the staff. Now, this award I'm speaking of, this award is a person who make a significant contribution to our community. This person is very active and got a lot of talent and dedicated. Each year, this honoree may include 2 persons. It could be an adult and a youth to receive the Dexter Herd Impact Award. Now, the honoree for the selection of this committee would be the Patterson community staff. And also, we're looking at the Murfreesboro Parks and Recreation representative also to be part of this committee. And the criteria is based on leadership, based on the innovation and overall impact. And we're looking for someone that come in that can volunteer and bring new ideas. And this is the Dexter Herd Impact Award that we would like to present each year.
All right. Thanks, Russell. Are there any questions about starting this award? As Russell mentioned, one of the things on the nomination committee, they would like a member of the Parks and Rec Commission to serve. Nobody has to answer today, but if anybody on the commission is interested and so inclined, appreciate you volunteering. Let Angela and Russell know and get you in there.
Brother Chairman, I know that I knew the man Dexter Herd, and it'll be a pleasure to serve on that in that capacity.
Thanks, Ricky. Appreciate it. All right, so we need a motion for approval of starting this award.
So moved.
I'll second.
All right. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
All right, thank you.
Russell, thanks. This is a great award, and Ricky, thank you.
Hey, Russell, while you're there, I just want to pass along a compliment I heard on you a couple days ago. They were talking about how cooperative Patterson Park had been in helping get ready for the transition of moving the seniors over from the senior center, and how cooperative that you had been. So I wanted to pass that compliment along. So thank you for that cooperation and willingness to help cover while we're remodeling our senior center.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for all you do, Russell. All right, Nate Williams is going to give us an update on the mountain bike trail system.
Yes,
Nate,
Mr.
welcome.
Mr. Chairman, members of Commission, we're excited to be where we are with mountain bikes right now. On July 12th of this year, this Commission approved an agreement that we entered with Griggs and Maloney to design a conceptual mountain bike plan throughout the park system, and specifically at Barfield Crescent Park, where we're going to start off with our mountain bikes. We're glad to say we have a first draft that's taken many different versions leading up to now. We've done a lot of due diligence and research in the properties. Ryan Maloney is here with Griggs & Maloney, has done all the planning, and he's going to give you a brief overview for you to review. We're not asking for approval today, but we're looking for review and comments regarding this plan and the identified parking area as well. So that said, it's Mr. Maloney from Griggs & Maloney.
Thanks, Nate. Ryan, welcome. Be careful.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Glad to be here. Excited about the project. Thank you to city staff and the commission for having me. Got a couple of drawings here I'd like to share with you as we discuss the trail design as it stands today. The first one you'll see on the screen. Hopefully you're able to read it. We've got approximately 9 miles of trail, and the design principle we've exercised is a stacked loop, which gives a rider an opportunity to progress his distance and ability levels. It's all about progression when you're talking about mountain bike trails. You want those beginners to be able to come in, learn in a friendly environment, and be able to progress those skills as they get better and better shape and better skills. We have a pretty even division of beginner, intermediate, and what I'll call advanced intermediate. And when you're thinking about those different skill categories, it really comes down to what the slope of the terrain looks like, what the challenges along the trail might be, and the width of the trail. Obviously, the beginner trail, you want to be a little wider. You want it to be a little more friendly towards less gradient. As you progress, that trail becomes narrower and perhaps on more steep terrain with more obstacles in the trail. We've incorporated a home run from the trailhead parking lot that allows access to all the different trail varieties there. Now the home run is going to be more along the lines of 6 feet in width, and that's going to also provide some interior access for emergency response. And all that's going to come from what we found is a new trailhead parking lot that worked best for our situation. It's on city property, and I'll show you what we're thinking there. So this is the access that would be off Highway 231 South. It'd just be just south of Volunteer Boulevard. And this configuration uses an existing access off 231. It would need to be improved to allow for 2 lanes of traffic. There'll be some coordination that would be required with TDOT to get that improved entrance installed, we anticipate. For the most part, that's going to be a simple form, and they're going to require some drainage improvements that meet their standard specifications. At this time, we're looking at a gravel lot, but we understand there might be some planning hurdles to that. For the entrance itself, I would recommend asphalt just because of its gradient and erosion potential. But we've got 20 parking spaces, and if it is indeed a gravel lot, we'd like to have curb stops, so we'll have some organization to that parking lot since it can't be striped. We're also showing a new trailhead kiosk there in the upper right-hand corner, and all this will be access controlled with a new 24-foot, double-leaf gate that allows the city to manage the trail when it's wet and for other reasons after hours. What you also see on the parking lot is a 40-foot easement from Middle Tennessee Electric Corporation. We have been in contact with them, and they've given us permission to use their easement for a portion of our parking lot. We found that area to be already cleared because of how they maintain their overhead electric lines. And so that's something that benefits us. We may in the future also ask TDOT to allow us to use a portion of their right-of-way, but at this time, we're not showing that. At this time, that really concludes my update, and I'll turn it back over to Nate, and we'll entertain any questions. Thank you all for having me.
Thanks, Ryan.
So the question a lot of times becomes how much and when's it going to happen, and we don't exactly know that yet. I'm going to pull back to this other map and give you just a little bit of perspective to make sure you understand the area. I'm going to pull the cursor up. If you look right up here, that's going to be our Wilderness Station area. So this is a small portion. It looks like a huge area that's encompassed. One of the things that we did early on is establish control points, and this is not heavily populated areas. And it presents itself a good option to have parking off of 231 because of how busy the existing parking area is at the Wilderness Station and throughout the park. So it's going to be good for us, for users, to be able to have their own parking area who want to just go to the trails. We're evaluating a lot of options right now and how to get this done. For the parking area, we'd be looking at working with Rollins to do that. It's hopefully going to be very simple. It's already graded, and there's already access off of 231 with a cut median in between. We have a few different options. We can work with SORBA, who's the mountain bike expert group, and we can coordinate a volunteer effort, and that's been our primary plan so far, is to have that volunteer effort, work with Moab, MTSU Outdoor Pursuits, and other bike advocates who want to see this happen. We could also do a direct build with SORBA, which would cost money, or we could do a bid build with a professional trail builder. We're evaluating all of those. I think we have a plan, Ms. Jackson and I have been discussing, that we'd like to present to Mr. Crumley and Mr. Lyons for further review for when we bring back the final plan to you. But like I said, we don't know exactly what the total cost would be for this plan yet, but we want to iron that out very quickly. Do you have any questions about this plan?
Any questions for Nate or Ryan regarding the progress on this to this point? All right.
Well, I do have one. When you look at the first draft, the one that's currently showing, you said you have an intermediate, an advanced intermediate, maybe even advanced. Which colors represent which on there?
The green is the beginner trail, and then the orange is going to be the intermediate, and then the pink is the advanced trail. So, like I said, we're evaluating phasing options. The beginner trail is about 2 miles, and that might be our first phase to target to complete with a volunteer group and then go from there. But we don't know for sure exactly what that process is going to look like. One of the first steps, we just met with Mr. Tyndall in the legal department regarding kind of where we are. And one of the first steps we're going to do is have SORBA, who build trails all the time, come out and they do it free of charge just to flag areas that they think right here so we can get a better reflection of it, where the exact trail will go.
Just so we can visualize what a mountain bike trail looks like, are we just talking about basically going in and clearing off an area so that it's passable with, we're just talking about a dirt path with...
As minimal impact as possible. The beginner routes, if you want to jump in, Ryan, feel too, but the beginner routes will be just a little bit wider, a little bit safer, less obstacles, but there will be a little bit of grading that has to take place just because of the landscape of Barfield. In parts isn't conducive necessarily for mountain bikes.
But Eddie, you're right. For the first phase of this, it's a land clearing exercise. You clear a swath of land or a path 6 to 10 feet wide, and you have a ceiling that goes with that too. You want to clear that canopy out at least 7 to 8 feet. And after you get that land clearing portion done, you come back in. You can either by hand or machine excavate the trail portion, recompact it, and it looks a lot like a hiking trail at the end of it. But beginner section will be a little bit more of a double track, it'll be wider, and as you get to more skilled sections, you'll have a narrower track.
Yeah, I guess I probably watch too much sports on TV, but occasionally I'll see these really aggressive mountain bike things where they have bridges and ramps and that type thing. Are we talking about going to that level with any of this, or is this just a basic mountain bike trail where you're just riding trails on your mountain bikes?
Well, I think when you're talking about the beginner sections, you're talking about very basic, work around the obstacles that are there. And in terms of ease, it would be a trail that you want your child to learn on. As you get into some of the, as you know, Barfield Park has some pretty rocky, rooty sections. We had the opportunity to incorporate some of those sections or some of those features into the trail design and to increase the difficulty for the higher level riders. But we'd also want to bear in mind that we want to leave it out for those riders that don't want to participate in that feature or that difficult feature. And so had the opportunity for them to ride around that obstacle.
I think it's also good to point out this design. One of the things we're very pleased with is there's minimal interaction with our hiking trails. There'll be hiking trails, and we'll also have these mountain bike trails they'll intersect at a couple of points that aren't really heavily utilized, and it'll be incumbent on us to really sign that very well and make sure we get off to the right track.
Good questions. Any others? All right. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
Ryan, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Take care of that knee. Nate, you're still up.
I'm here.
Discussion of the North Murfreesboro Greenway grand opening.
We are so excited. Our North Murfreesboro Greenway is nearing completion. I got a few pictures I'd like to take you through. On your screen you can see. This stretch of trail runs from Walter Hill Park all the way to Central Valley Road, where a new trailhead's being located. With that trailhead, there's a turnaround, there's a horse trailer parking, and that's where the pedestrian trail ends or starts, however you look at it, but also the equestrian trail begins. So part of this project, it's 1.78 miles of equestrian trail that goes out from Central Valley. The amount of trail between Central Valley and Walter Hill is 1.34 miles. So this picture you're looking at is the new trailhead. About 95% of the trail has been asphalted, so it's safe to say about 95% of the trail is complete. Right now, the only thing left to do, that's a picture of the equestrian trail taking off from Central Valley. The last stage of this is the switchback that is close to Walter Hill Park that a lot of people have seen. And we're really excited about that switchback, but that's the last place that'll be asphalted on the ends of that. As you can see, we're really pleased with our contractor in this process. They've gone out of their way. You can see the trees on the side of the trail to keep these trees. Those were all scheduled to be demolished, but what we've got in return is pretty much a full canopy throughout the whole trail. This is one of two overlooks of the Stones River, and I think everybody who uses this trail is going to be very pleased with the variation it is from our existing trail and elevation change, as well as just the scenic view. This is the switchback trail that I spoke about earlier. If you can see up at the top, that's Walter Hill Park that will have its own trailhead. In the meantime, we are doing some improvements that some have been complete at Walter Hill. We're going to have a lot more heavy usage there, so we're working on some things. What I want to invite you to is on November 29th at 2:30 p.m., we're going to have our ribbon cutting with the Corps of Engineers for this stretch of trail, and we're really excited about that. We hope you can be there, but again, that's November 29th at 2:30 at the Central Valley Road trailhead. So, anybody have any questions that I could address regarding this new stretch of trail?
Any questions for Nate?
Looks beautiful.
It does. Really nice.
We always want to take the chance to tell the public it's not open. There's a lot of curiosity about it right now, but a lot of heavy machinery still is working out there. So anytime we get a chance, we like to remind everyone that it's going to be open very soon, just to give the contractor room to finish, and they'll get it done all that sooner.
All right. Great work, Nate.
Great.
Hey, Nate, real quickly, I've been out there looking at it. I'm one of those nosy people who've already snuck out there as well. And there is a lot of heavy equipment. Everybody stay away but me. But the bridges, are we going to put some kind of solid object in front of those bridges or something, or a pole or something to prevent any type of vandalism from happening to those bridges?
I spoke with the Corps about that yesterday. We were able to save some money on a different part of the trail. They proposed maybe putting some bollards in front of the bridges. We're actually... we have some other ideas. There are going to be bollards placed at each end of the trail. That's going to limit anybody's ability to drive down that trail. So I think that'll be suitable. Part of that conversation we had with them is we're going to add some more railing so it's a little bit safer for pedestrians. But as far as right in front of the bridges, no, we don't believe they're necessary just because of the bollards that will be at the existing trailheads.
Okay.
With the saving that we've had, they're leaving an access road between the two bridges for emergency access and also maintenance access, and they're going to be installing a 24-foot gate for us as well. Does that address your question?
Yeah, I did. Thank you.
Any other questions? Nate, thanks for the update.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Next item is the consideration of professional services agreement regarding swim lessons, and Kyle Goss is with us to tell us all about it. Kyle, welcome.
Well, thank you. Like you said, I'm here requesting that we approve an expansion on a professional services agreement with Excel to include the operation of the swim lessons at Patterson Park and SportsCom. We've had a long history working with Excel. I've worked with them for about 9 years since with our previous professional services agreement at SportsCom. Had nothing but positive experiences with them. Any lessons scheduled has to be approved through the Parks Department. They currently have set times that they know to operate within, and any deviation from that would require our approval.
I think part of the intention in this swim lesson, Kyle and his staff has done an excellent job in really focusing on the idea of drown-proofing Murfreesboro. Really, in addition to the benefit to the individual recipient of the lesson and the program as a whole, it helps us to put a focus on our aquatic program, on our water safety initiatives, and on all that we can do in meeting that goal of drown-proofing Murfreesboro. Kyle and his staff have done lessons in the past. They will continue to use that skill set. Also proposing outreach to our youth development at Patterson Park, being able to reach and do after-school swim lessons and to really free up some of their time in promoting that program as a whole. I think it'll be a real benefit to our entire accessibility to good swim lessons. We're really excited about the opportunity for our partnership.
That's great. Any questions for Kyle regarding the agreement? If there are none, we need a motion for approval.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Eddie. Is there a second?
Second it.
Thank you, Ricky. There's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Kyle, good work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is a consideration of rules for operation of mobile food service vehicles in city parks. Angela, it's all you.
Thank you. We continue our lengthy discussion about food trucks, and we are looking forward to the next steps. We have talked about it with this group on at least 2 previous occasions, so I will be brief. The new city ordinance regarding food trucks is expected to go for its 2nd reading with City Council, and that ordinance serves as a foundation and an umbrella for what we expect. It will it will provide for permitting, and then it will refer private property rules and public property rules, which is where we come into play separately. So we wanted to be prepared for the new food trucks that will be permitted to operate in Murfreesboro to come to our parks and have that reservation process in place. The packet, the thing that made it so thick for you today, I included 3 different attachments. One is the current city ordinance itself. Next is the rules that we are proposing for your approval today. And then finally, that map of designated locations. One thing that we wanted to be able to do, and one reason for separating out our park rules from the ordinance, is because our park needs do change, and we want to be able to have that flexibility. So if we have a new park, if we have a new opportunity, we want to be able to do that at the park level rather than having to revisit the city ordinance. So that separation gives us more flexibility and good management, but still providing for welcoming food trucks. We think it's going to be a nice service for our park patrons. We do want to manage it carefully, of course. The proposed rules do not have a fee associated with them outside of some of our other services, they'll be able to reserve the park space, and it will be a requirement to make the reservation, but that will be at no additional charge beyond their City of Murfreesboro permitting. These rules are expected to operate separate from some of the things that we already have established. We already have fees associated with concessions and with special events, special use such as 5K or other outside groups that form a cooperative agreement with us to use the park, and then also, of course, our league agreements for concessions. So we'll be working to carefully schedule so that we avoid conflict with some of those existing uses, but welcome the new addition to our park system. Any questions? I'd be happy to answer.
Awesome. I saw when I was walking over here, there's Food Truck Friday at Cannonsburg, right?
Food Truck Friday has
Say that 5 times fast.
Friday
Not easy.
has there have been 3, I believe. This will be the 3rd coming up, and they have been very successful.
Yeah, no, I've heard good things about it.
Great.
Exciting.
Great.
Any questions regarding this is presented? If there are none, we need a motion for approval.
I move to approve.
Thanks, Tim. Is there a second?
A second.
Stephen, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Thanks, Angela.
Thank you.
Next item is a consideration of pricing for picnic shelter reservations. Angela, you're back up.
Thank you. As you know, we have several picnic shelters throughout our park system, and we do reservations from March through October on many of those shelters. Our smallest shelters are available at no charge on a first-come, first-served basis. And during the spring, summer, and fall months, we do have a reservation system in place. If the shelter is not reserved, then it can be used at no charge on that first-come, first-served basis. The prices that we've had for those reservations have been in place since 2005, and our cost for maintenance and custodial services of those shelters has, of course, increased. So I wanted to propose the increase from a cost recovery standpoint, but of basically a $10 increase. But as you'll see, there's an additional aspect. Our new software that we are working towards more online interactions in all of our reservation processes does not allow for the half-day, all-day option as we currently do it. We currently have a half-day option and then an all-day option at a small increase in price. For example, a medium shelter, which is most of our shelters, it's $40 currently for a half-day or $60 for an all-day reservation. What we'd like to do is eliminate that all-day option and provide a $10 increase to a $50 half-day reservation. If you needed an all-day experience, then you would simply reserve 2 half-days. What we found, and I did include information in your packet to show the small increase for a half-day, but for especially the large shelter at Barfield, that's our corporate pavilion, the one, I believe its capacity is 315. The increase to that is more significant. The $110 half-day or a $120 previously to a $120 half-day as proposed would be the change. From from eliminating the all-day option, basically we accomplish a couple of things. First of all, we make it interact with our software so that we can do the reservations from an administrative standpoint. We make that possible. The other thing that we do with a half-day reservation, it is a 6-hour reservation. Most parties can come and go within that 6-hour piece, and we currently don't have enough shelters to meet the needs of our citizens. Our peak times on weekends especially fill up very quickly, and we're not able to provide that service because there is a small increase between half-day and all-day currently. We find that most people just reserve the whole day. The price increase of offering 2 half-day options will encourage people to limit their reservation to that 6 hours and will increase the number of people that we serve. So I do want to bring that to your attention as well. And I put because the price structure is a little different, I put that chart in front of you there in your packet, so hopefully that will help explain things. We did research other communities nearby. We find these prices, even with the half-day option, to be still, quite honestly, less expensive than most of the shelters in our surrounding communities as well.
All right. Thanks, Angela.
Thank you.
Any questions regarding this proposed change?
I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
When does the half-day begin at the starting time they suggest, or are they already dictated on the online?
With our half-day, it goes from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. or from 3 p.m. to either dark or 9, depending on which park that you're in.
Thank you.
And during that 2 to 3 hour is when our maintenance staff comes in for a full turnover.
That's a good question. Any other questions? There are none. We need a motion for approval as presented.
Move for approval as presented.
Thank you, Eddie. Is there a second?
I second it.
Ricky, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Thanks, Angela.
Thank you.
Tommy Gregory's with us. He's going to tell us about the ever-popular buy one, get one sale and the 25% discount for Sportscom and Patterson Park. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm here to ask permission to offer the holiday special on our passes again. This would make the 10th year of offering the buy one, get one free in December and the 25% off in January. It has been very popular with our customers. It helps us to retain customers and also bring in new customers. And with your permission, we'd like to be able to offer it again.
Okay. 10 years. Man, it's hard to believe.
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions? I think everybody's familiar with this. We've been doing it a long time. So,
Move for approval.
all right. Thank you.
I'll second.
Great. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Tommy?
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
I hope we get a bunch.
Okay. We'll try.
All right, Allison Davidson's with us, and she's going to tell us about the Silver Sneakers program. Give us an update. Allison, welcome.
Long way up here. Okay, well, about 6 months ago, we started the Silver Sneakers program both at Patterson Park and at Sportscom. And just to give you a very brief recap of what that is, we're working with Healthways, which is a company that works with insurance companies, and they offer their members free access to participating facilities. And 6 months ago, we finally got the contract set up to where we are one of those participating facilities. And so when people come in, they check in with their Silver Sneakers card through a tablet that we have, each facility has. And then Healthways reimburses us for those visits when they come in. So it's the insurance is paying the memberships for them. So in those 6 months, we have had about almost 6,500 visits under those passes. I didn't get October's. October's hadn't come up yet, so from April to September. So we've had about 6,500 visits with the Silver Sneakers. We also work with the Prime level, which is memberships given to people who are not seniors. So like Blue Cross Blue Shield has the option where you can pay a dividend to get the membership as well. And we've had about 230 visits under that option, the Prime level as well. We've been so far have brought in about $12,640, which we've been reimbursed. We haven't seen any great decreases in our regular sales of passes. Really, we've seen an increase because we have more people coming in now that weren't coming to us before because we didn't offer that service. So we're very happy with the way that things have gone. It's a very simple program for us to do because we don't really have to do anything. And people are very happy about having the program offered to them. So I think it's going well, and I think we can only do better as the future goes on.
Great.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions for Allison regarding the program? Sounds like it's going really well. Thanks for the update.
All right, thanks.
Appreciate you being here. Angela is going to give us an update on a contract contract amendment for the McDonald property in West Murfreesboro.
Yes, we've been talking about building a park in the west side of Murfreesboro for some time. We are excited for these next phases. We had a contract that was approved by Murfreesboro City Council in 2013 with Kimley Horn and Associates after we completed a request for qualifications, request for proposals, in selecting that architect and engineering firm at that time. What we're looking to do now is to engage with them with the next phase of planning, and we'll be looking at that McDonald property that we have been discussing to move forward with the park master planning. The tasks that they will get started with, so we learn what we need to do by seeking input from our leadership and from our community, of course. Will include the project coordination and meetings, a kickoff workshop with the Park Commission and City Council, a lot of focus groups, landowner meetings, and community meetings, so we can really look for the community impact, the community input to guide the park planning process. They'll also do surveys, base mapping, preliminary concept development, architectural concepts, and a final master plan. So a lot of steps to go through while we decide how to develop that final master plan, and we're looking for your approval in beginning that process.
It's the first step in a big project.
Yes, sir.
Is there any questions for Angela regarding the proposed contract?
Let me point out, if I could, the Kimley Horn, it takes a leadership role, but is a team that does include a lot of different groups, Huddleston Steel Engineering, Johnson & Bailey, Weiser, Griggs & Maloney, Gregory Peck and Associates, several others that are listed here. This will be a team effort of planning professionals as we move forward.
Thanks.
Thank you.
If there aren't any questions, we need a motion for approval.
Let me ask a question.
Yeah, Ricky, go ahead, sorry.
Now, where's this park going to be located at?
The property was purchased from the McDonald family. It's, if you know where there's a gas station called the Blackman Grocery. It is surrounded by Burnt Knob Road.
Okay.
In the western portion of town. If you're familiar with that, you'll.
So this is the, I guess, the new park on that side of town to kind of the big park that we're planning to, I guess, the overcrowding and all that.
We are looking to have a park within access of all of our citizens, and we have a lot of citizens in the west side, and it continues to grow. We would love to provide some park space. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Don't
get on that side of town that much. So.
We'll have to do a tour.
Yeah.
Right now it's harvested cornfields, but it won't be long before you really see something that.
Now, how much land is that? How many acres?
123. 123.
Okay. So that'll be a full out everything, ball fields, sort of like another sports come on that side of town, right?
This is what this planning process will determine as to what goes on that. There's a lot of different parts of that design and that consideration. I mean, obviously, we can't put everything that we would like to because we will be limited by space, and we have a lot of things that we would like to see happen. But that's what this process that we'll be engaging will be determining, what is most suitable for the property. We know that it is very flat, and mountain bikes are probably not going to be what we're looking for. There will be athletic needs. There will be neighborhood considerations. What does the community really want to have right there in their immediate reach?
Okay.
Any questions? Any others? I need a motion for approval as presented.
With that being said, I approve.
Thanks, Ricky.
Second.
Tim, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Thanks, Angela.
Thank you.
Always save the best for last. Becky Johnson is with us and going to give us an update on upcoming events. Becky, welcome.
Thank you. All right, our first event that we have coming up this weekend is for Murfreesboro production of Harriet the Spy, and that is this weekend, November 4th, 5th, and 6th Friday and Saturday night, the show is at 7, and Sunday it's at 2. And we are happy to announce that you can now buy tickets online through ticketpeak.com/Perform Murfreesboro. So we encourage people to get online and reserve their seats and come see the show this weekend. And then on November 11th, Bradley Academy is hosting a Veterans and Active Duty Military Appreciation Dinner. We encourage veterans and active duty members who are interested to contact Bradley to make reservations and join us for dinner. Then we have our premier Acorn Festival this year. Saturday, November 19th, there will be 5 bands: Frontier Ruckus, The Hard and Draw, Boy Named Banjo, Mountains Like Wax, and Rye Baby. And these tickets may be purchased at the door, or we encourage people to buy them online through oaklandsmansion.org, and they are just $10 for a wristband. Then Sportscom loves their customers, and they are going to show their appreciation on Friday, December 2nd from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., so we encourage people to come on out to Sportscom on December 2nd for Customer Appreciation Day. And then Saturday, December 3rd, I can't believe it's, 80-some-odd degrees out, and I'm going to be mentioning this. Christmas at Cannonsburg Village is not that far away. Saturday, December 3rd from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., and it is free for all to attend. They will have pictures with Santa that you can purchase if you're interested. And for more information on all of these programs and our other events, you can pick up a copy of our Rec Connection, check out our website, or like us on Facebook.
All right. Thanks, Becky. As always, ton going on.
I got a question for Becky. How did the haunted hayride and everything, participation well there?
It went really well. The weather, the temperature dipped a little bit, but it wasn't too cold, and we had, I don't know the exact numbers, but I believe we had a record number. We had more than we've had in the past few years, so
awesome.
We had a nice steady crowd, and lots of people came out in costumes and enjoyed all that we had to offer, from scary to not so.
That's fun.
Very good.
Hey, Becky, on the Acorn Festival, I know there were 4 or 5 bands listed. What genre of music are we looking at there? Are we ranging from bluegrass to
I'll let
garage
Nate
rock?
answer
Or
that.
what are we talking about here, Nate?
The genre of Acorn Festival, I think we're calling it indie folk, is what it's called. And it's not very bluegrass. There's bluegrass tones to it, but it's an interesting group. I think if you go look up any of those bands online, Frontier Ruckus is coming out of Detroit, Michigan, and they're renowned around the nation. They've played at Bonnaroo and done a lot of big shows. They were featured in Rolling Stone magazine. So we're really excited about Acorn Festival, though, because it's really exposing that area of town. We've got a great special event space that we're partnering with Oakland's to put on. And it's going to be a great music festival at a tremendous price.
Yeah, I think that one will be very well attended.
We hope so.
Yeah.
So tickets are available online at oaklandsmansion.org, and we encourage people to go ahead and do that, and they can go to Will Call when they get there and enjoy a lot of good music.
Good deal. Any other questions or comments? That concludes new business. Is there any other business to come before the commission? Being none, we stand adjourned. Y'all did an awesome job.